This is Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox.
And it's Financial Straight Talk, our podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. However you are, downloading, subscribe to the feed. Make sure you share it with someone you love. If you leave a rating or a review, we really appreciate that. It helps other people find this podcast. And the star of the show here, the president and founder of Wadadley Financial Group, an independent financial advisor, the father of financial dragons, the chief engineer of the Wheelbarrow of Wisdom, and I hear he's getting to be pretty good at karate, the tax ninja, Jim Fox, the financial straight talker himself. How are you doing, sir?
Good, Jerry. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a wild, wild week up there on Wall Street, and so let's deal with that first, Jim. Has the dam broke? I mean, I don't know what to say about what we saw in the market. It was an up and down week.
It was, and you know, it's one of those things that, you know, I see all of this craziness. I don't even know what better word to use. I mean, it reminds me, like, think about it. Fox Business, CNN.
Not affiliated with Fox Business, by the way.
No, but I mean, just all these, like, you just watch Bloomberg, all the different channels. It was kind of like, I can't even explain it. It felt almost like September 11th, like the way people were acting. Oh my God, the markets are doing, oh, did you see this? It was crazy. And you know what? What happened? The next day, we woke up and the profit takers were there. They're like, let's get some money, right? And the market started to move again. Listen, this is just, there's a term, and we've all heard it, black swan, right? Weird things that come out of left field. And I'm not saying that it's a black swan. There's a lot of fundamentals involved, but the reaction was exactly what we talk about on this show every single week, is that you don't want to be in a position that you're acting emotionally. And that's what I saw on Monday. It was craziness, man. And rightfully so. Some people were really freaking out. But if you had a good plan, if you understood that things go up and they go down, and if you were Semper Gumby, something we talk about, very technical term here, if you were in that position, you weathered that storm. You said, okay, well, this is what we knew was going to be coming. I guess what really shocked me, did people really think those things can't happen? That's what blows me away.
Well, we get
crazy.
We get so used to that bull market, and you hear these things, the memes online that say, oh, the stocks only go up and all this other stuff. Well, that's just not true. The market really, in general, Jim, does three things. It goes up, it goes down, and it goes sideways.
Sideways, yeah.
And we can't hope to time the market. So what's the alternative? I mean, think about the people who retired earlier in the summer and they didn't have a plan. How do they feel right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think of the people that were hovering in CDs for the past 9, 10, 12 months, right? That missed this crazy run up. I mean, it's just so many ways to play this. And again, Jerry, it all comes down to one simple thing. Do you have a realistic plan? You know, before we started, going on air, we were talking about diets and why I just don't think they work, right? I mean, yes, of course, if I eat egg whites and a cup of dry, nasty, oats, and I eat,
don't forget your spinach now. You want to be like Popeye.
All of this stuff, like, will it work? Of course you'll lose weight because it's horrible, right? But can you like you said, we all know collectively that sugar's probably not good for you, but is it realistic to say that you're never going to eat sugar again? I mean, can I share balance?
I want to share something, my own personal diet plans. I've got a trainer, and he had a recipe on the weekly meal plan for plantains. And I've had plantains at Cuban restaurants, and they're fried and covered in sugar. I was all excited, and then, we cooked up the plantains by his prescription. Plantains without sugar and deep frying them. I'm not on board. Those were no flavor and just like mushy potatoes. Now, add a little sugar to that, some brown sugar, and fry them up. Boy, those things are good, but I'll stick to sweet potatoes.
Exactly. It's just so I guess ultimately is what it's coming down to is if you're one of those people that are listening us to right now and you had that feeling of anxiety. I'm not even going to say panic, just that anxiety. You got to ask yourself, why? Like, what plan do you not have that didn't give you that confidence to go, hey, I'm on the path. I knew this could happen. I mean, Jerry, that's just the reality of things, right? These things can happen. Markets go way up. Eventually they have to come back down and then they go higher. And that's just the nature of things. And it really does. And I hate to be so cliche. And they're like, here's Jim with his buckets or his plan, because those are the two things I say most frequently. if you don't have a plan, things like Monday really get to you. And even if you do have a plan and you don't fully understand it, you still lead to those emotional responses. And I will tell you, it never, ever, ever benefits you when you have emotional responses to your retirement. It really doesn't. It leads you down a path of making poor decisions. And that's what we're here to try not to do, is make bad decisions. We want to make educated, logical decisions. And sometimes, Jerry, that's not easy, but that's what we're here to do for everybody.
Absolutely. So, Jim, if somebody's feeling like, I can't believe I did it again. I waited too long. I'm down, 5%, 10%, and I'll just wait until it comes back up, and then I'll call Jim. What should they do instead?
Well, Jerry, the easiest question you could ask me, if you want to get more information, make sure that you go to the show notes, click on the link there, and it's going to take you to our webpage. Fill out that form. Someone from my team will reach out to you. If you're like me and a little impatient, don't hesitate. Go to our website, getfst.com. We'll make sure that we get in touch with you from there.
Well, Jim, there's this phrase that goes around with, I guess it's my age group, the millennials, and then even younger, the zennials, or whatever you call them, that old hey boomer or okay boomer. I always roll my eyes at that because I'm old enough now to realize that the people that came before me, well, they know more than I do. But I saw this phrase, this headline. It said, "Hey boomer, you're addicted to stocks." And that intrigued me a little bit. And certainly after the past week, I think there's a point that can be made. It went on to talk about how the baby boomer generation, despite the 2008 crash and what we went through then, they've had a lot of success with stocks. And as they enter retirement, some of them have a hard time divesting themselves of the risk. They're addicted to the growth when it happens, Jim, but I know that when, you meet with people for the first time, especially after a week like this, that ride up is fun, but boy, that ride back down, that's where you can get a little car sick.
Yeah, and rightfully so, right? I mean, you have watched the markets really, honestly, if you just stop and look at the numbers from 2008 to pretty much right now, the markets have kind of just went almost rocket ship up, right?
Stick.
Yeah, and it will go. Don't get me wrong. There's little spikes, but when you spread this kind of duration out far enough, it has been this massive movement up. So when you have had 10 years, 12 years, 20 years of growth, and you see these things, you're like, man, it's just going to go on forever. And then you wake up, and guess what? You're like, I can't believe this just happened to me. And then you freak out because you're like, oh my God, the markets went down. But in the big scheme of things, it's literally a blip. Bloop. That's all it was. And it looks like it's huge in real time. Here's my problem with older people that have all these huge stock portfolios. And it's something I think people miss. Like, everybody understands the market goes up and they kind of forget that they can go back down till they do. But here's my big question for you. How do you convert these stocks into an income stream? Mm-hmm. Jerry, how do you do it? There's only one way to really do it. Now, obviously, because, Jim, they're going to pay out dividends. Well, you better have a boatload of money in those stocks to live off the dividends.
And
okay,
by the way, as we're going through this little bumpy part of the road, I did see some layoffs happening, some dividends being cut.
Things happen, right? But you would have to have a boatload. So how do you really, if you want, I had a client just bought a new Lexus and she loves it. I still can't believe that basic kind of middle of the road cars are $70,000 and $80,000. Okay. That's shocking to me still, right? But she loves this car. For her to buy that car, she sold some positions to buy the car. Now, if your stocks are doing really well and you sell a position, you feel really great, I guess. But now you're no longer in those positions, right? Now you've given up that spot. And if they're down, oh my God, the pain isn't that great when you sell those stocks. So it's the conversion of asset into income that becomes the biggest problem for me. And I truly believe, and someone's going to argue with me, Jim, that's not true. Well, I do this for a living. I see it all the time. People that have these massive stock portfolios, they do not want to sell their positions because they're like, it went up 10%. It looks like it's going to go up another 10%. Why would I sell the positions?
Well, I know a certain guy who worked on the railroad for almost 40 years who loved his railroad stock. And it's still doing fine, but there's a time when it comes to talking about that income, Jim.
Correct.
The stock positions don't give you income.
That is the key, guys. Listen, I'm going to help you out. If you eat pancakes and you eat chocolate chip cookies and you eat, pies for dinner, Here's a story. You're going to get fat. I think we all know that. And if we want to be skinny, then we got to eat the egg whites and the mushrooms and all the things that just don't taste as good, right? And we'll lose weight. We all know what common sense is. And we all think that we possess the ability to have this crazy level of common sense until it comes to retirement. And if we don't have a plan, we don't exercise common sense. So what do I mean by that? When we sit down with somebody, we apply common sense to retirement. We have a bucket, and that bucket, Jerry, is named income in our office. And guess what it does? It's for income, and its job is to provide the income. I don't care what tools we use. We can use dividends. We can use fixed accounts. We can use, income annuities. We can use whatever product is right for you. It generates an income. And our other buckets do other things like market bucket. It goes up and it goes down. But if you have checked the box for income and you know Jerry Payne that X amount of dollars is going to come through the door every single month for you to live your lifestyle and to enjoy yourself, what the other buckets do are less important because you don't have to figure out how am I going to make a living off of it. That is the beauty to having a simplistic plan in retirement. The problem is most people, and when I say most people, I'm throwing Jim Fox in this kind of bucket himself, right? They have a bunch of things and they got to figure out how to make money when it comes time to convert to income. It's a challenge we all face. Sometimes we realize that when we're in our 50s. Sometimes we realize it when we're in our 60s. Some people are in their 80s, Jerry, and they're still figuring out every year they need an RMD. What am I going to sell to get that RMD money?
Yep.
What am I going to sell so I can have the income I need? And that is not the place to be. You need to have balance. I always used to think yin and yang. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
What is that, a Chinese thing? Like
somewhere in the Far East.
Right. I always thought it was like, the opposites of each other, right? The conflict between the yin and the yang, but it's not. It's balance. It's about understanding the right balance for you to achieve harmony. And what I think about when we do our plannings is that our job is to find balance between your income bucket and your market bucket. So you can enjoy life. When the markets go up, you're going to benefit immensely from it. But when the markets go down, you're not impacted by it. That is the yin and yang. That's the plan that we're looking for. And what's crazy is so many people are listening to me right now have money, but they don't have a plan on how to use their money. And that to me is the key. One big factor in that obviously is taxation, Jerry, but we don't have time for that part of the conversation. But understanding how to use your assets to me is the greatest challenge that our industry faces. And it's probably the biggest area that I think most people fail in. How can I say that so confidently? Jerry, you have a 401k. A lot of people do. They have no idea how that 401k is going to ever generate income for them. They have no idea. It's a hold on and pray it's going to be higher when I get there, right? That's the whole goal. That isn't a plan. That is just a bunch of ingredients. So if you have all these mutual funds, CDs, stocks, annuities, all these different pieces, and you don't understand how they all work together to meet your requirements in retirement, you're already battling against yourself before we even get started. What I want you to do is just realize that if you were to sit down and figure out how to put this plan together, how to be in harmony with your retirement accounts and understand how they're going to work for you, you can make better decisions. I get it. It's not easy. A lot of people don't do it in my industry. They're too busy selling you the sizzle. They're selling you the newest, hottest thing. I sell boring. I think that's really important. I sell the idea of you coming in and understanding how retirement looks and how we're going to accomplish those goals. There's nothing sexy and sizzling about that, but you know what? It's needed. That's what we do each and every day. And if you want to understand how your retirement plan is going to work for you, or if you have a plan and you're not sure if it's going to work for you, that's what we do each and every day. All you have to do to make that happen, click on the link there and it's going to take you to our webpage. Fill out that form. Someone from my team will reach out to you. If you're like me and a little impatient, don't hesitate. Go to our website, getfst.com. We'll make sure that we get in touch with you from there.
All right, click on the link in the show notes if you'd like to talk to Jim about, hey, am I still on the right track for retirement? We make it easy for you. Click that link in the show notes or just go on over to getfst.com. getfst.com, getfst.com. Jim, that's all the time that we've got for today. I always want to remind people, hey, if you learned something, if you liked what you heard, share it with someone you love, leave us a rating, a review, get subscribed to that feed. For now, Jim, I'll let you have the last word.
Thanks so much, Jerry. Well, guys, every week, Jerry and I want to say thank you. We know that you have tons of options when it comes to getting financial information, and we're just honored to be one of those resources. So if there's anything we can do for you, don't hesitate. Reach out, let us know, and we'll be glad to help out. But on behalf of myself and the rock doctor himself, Mr. Jerry Payne, I want to thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Financial Straight Talk.
Thanks for listening to Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox. To learn more, visit getfst.com.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Wadadley Financial Group. Wadadley Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Wadadley Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Wadadley Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any government agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wadadley Financial Group.